Hey, football fans, welcome back to another episode of Lions Latest, the show where we gather around and talk about the greatest team in the NFL, the Detroit Lions. I'm your host, Bryan Hanes, and we have some new updates on possible draft picks and coaches coming in. So let's get into this video. Beforehand, though, if you're not already, please consider going down and hitting subscribe. If you do that, you'll be updated on all the videos we put out Monday through Friday. We're going to be covering all the stuff going on in the offseason for the Lions. So if you're a fan of football or the Lions looking to stay involved, make sure you guys go ahead and hit subscribe. With that all being said, though, let's get straight into this video. So, other coaches. So it is actually a common practice then when a team hires a new coordinator or a new higher up coach that they try to bring in some familiar faces onto their staff, some other coaches from the previous squad or guys that they've worked with before to be in their system for the new organization. Even with a team like the Lions, who are already pretty stacked and have a pretty solidified coaching staff, they may still be willing to bring in some fresh faces to really help out Petzing in his adjustment over to this new offense. Last year, when we hired John Morton as the new offensive coordinator, he brought along David Shaw, a longtime friend, and also the passing game coordinator. So, what is Petzing going to bring with him with the Lions? So, the easiest dot connecting first, because the Lions are currently missing this coaching role since he got hired somewhere else, is the tight ends coach. And after Tyler Rolle left to become Iowa State's new offensive coordinator, there is definitely some questions on who we are going to hire. So giving Petzing's high usage of 12 and 13 personnel, 2 and 3 tight end sets is what that means. Getting a tight ends coach who shares that vision with him is going to be super important because we saw what he could do with Trey McBride this year. Steele, who's a former tight end and played for 6 years in the NFL, has been Petzing's tight end coach for his entire offensive coordinator years with the Cardinals. During that time, Trey McBride has become a superstar, and it'd be really fun to see if we could get Sam Laporta back up to the rookie numbers he was getting in his first season. I think that would be awesome. I think that'd be a great hire. I think it's one of the positions we really need right now. And if it's going to be the same guy who got Trey McBride his success, yeah, let's get Laporta going. And then one of the more fascinating questions now that Petzing is the hire is whether or not the passing game influences will be coming from him or someone else. So Petzing's innovation in the run game has been widely praised, except when he didn't have one in Arizona. But Detroit will still need to keep their top 10 passing attack thriving if we want to have any success next year. Terrell would be an interesting up-and-coming option. He served as the pass game coordinator / wide receivers coach for the past 3 years in Arizona, but the Cardinals' passing offense never produced anything over average results. So, working with the wide receivers group in Arizona, he was handed 2 young, highly drafted wide receivers in Marvin Harrison Jr. and Michael Wilson. Both have progressed, but were really underwhelming in their first couple of years so far. That being said, he found more success as the Washington receivers coach because he worked with Terry McLaurin, who became a household name for Commanders fans. So he does have success in the passing game. Not to say that the guys in Arizona were just totally his fault. He has had success, so I'm hoping with our guys who we got some more veteran guys and some younger guys, he's going to be able to work with them very well and hopefully get them back to get them up to Terry McLaurin level a few years ago. Sounds like 2 really, really great coaches. The passing game one, sure. Give the guy some help. If we can get him some help with who he's used to, maybe that'll help the adjustment. And with the tight ends coach, we need one. And if we can get the guy who got Trey McBride to where he was, heck yeah, I will take that 100%. You guys can let me know what you think about these 2 coaches and if there's anyone more better or someone you think would be better fit to take that role. Let me know in the comments right now. Going to our second topic of the day. So there have been some opinions on our new offensive coordinator from fans. The new coordinator Petzing has already reached out and made contact with St. Brown, the team's top wide receiver, just trying to become more comfortable with the squad he's going to be leading. St. Brown was actually curious this week regarding who the Lions were going to end up hiring as he was checking in on all the reports of coaching vacancies and NFL coaches being dismissed. Hey, player got to know. Player, he was interested. He was antsy. I get it. Dan Campbell had actually also texted St. Brown a couple of hours prior to the news being leaked to reporters. Saint then said, quote, "I was actually getting kind of a little antsy because I see all these coaches getting hired. I'm like, damn, when are the Lions? When are we going to make a move? When are we going to go get a coordinator? Because that's all we're really waiting on right now." Yesterday, it's actually funny. Yesterday morning, texted Jared Goff. I said, because quarterbacks always know more about hiring than any of the other positions because they're like one of the most important guys that they need and what's going on. So he actually was reaching out to his boy Goff first, trying to figure out what's going on. He wanted to know. On the latest St. Brown Bros podcast, St. Brown actually shared his feelings about the new hire when asked by his other brother, Equanimous, because of all the fan outbreak on Twitter and all the disagreement, stuff like that. He said, quote, I see crazy Lions fans talking crazy like, "Oh, why do we do this?" Like, bro, do you guys not have no trust in Dan or in the Lions? Like, do you think they just hired a random dude? Like, for real? You think they don't know what they're doing? They don't do their research. Like, most of you guys don't really know much about anything that goes on about any ball," said St. Brown. And you're tweeting about a coach that was hired because you guys don't like because of XYZ. It's just funny to me. Don't get me wrong, I love all Lions fans, but they are just so quick to make judgments about who we hired. Just relax, calm down, let the whole thing play out. Like you guys, just let it play out. Just relax. That's all I gotta say. Relax, man. Relax. End quote. Man, that's a bit of a mouthful, but if you guys got it, St. Brown's basically saying, dude, have faith. Like, we're not idiots. We're at the highest level. We're making decisions based on research and multiple and interviews and multiple decisions, and multiple heads are going into these decisions that are being made. And I think he's got a point. I mean, I'll be honest, I was also one of the people who were a little worried when we hired Petzing, just because I hadn't heard of the guy really. But I think St. Brown has a point. A lot of us fans don't know every coach in the NFL. Most of us don't even know the ones outside of our own organization. So yeah, relax. I got to do some relaxing too. I think he's got a point. We got to let it play out, and I don't think there's any reason to start getting mad and start assuming things until we actually see the results. St. Brown's got a point here, guys. And if it's our number one receiver telling us to calm down, I think we should start to calm down a little bit, just see where it goes. I think this is great. This is a great piece right here because I just think it really speaks from the inside of the organization what the guys who are actually part of the passing game actually think about this hire. If my number one receiver is telling me to relax, I'm going to calm down. But you guys can tell me what you think about all this. That'll take us to our third topic of the day. Another guard, actually, another draft prospect for the Lions. So ESPN NFL draft analyst Mel Kiper released his first 2026 NFL mock draft, and Detroit targets a Big Ten offensive lineman instead of Maui Goa. With pick number 17, Kiper has the Lions targeting Penn State Nittany Lions guard. Give me a break on this one. Oleva Vega Loan. I think that's how you pronounce it. As Kiper explained, Detroit took guard Tate Ratledge in round 2 of this last draft, but there were still issues on the interior nonetheless because of some injuries. The Lions were 31st in pass block win rate at 55.5%. With their skill on offense, it has to be fixed. We have to fix that offensive line if we want any of our skilled players to get some good opportunities. And while taking a guard in the first round isn't the most exciting pick, especially because where we're at right now with our guard room, Loan is extremely talented and wouldn't be a bad pick. Jared Goff would appreciate his ability to sustain blocks, and the fact that he really has, and the fact that he hasn't given up a sack since 2023. Goff was getting absolutely wrecked on the interior this year, so maybe getting another guy is what we need. Jahmyr Gibbs and possibly David Montgomery, if he stays with us, would also really appreciate the fact that this guy gets into the secondary level very quickly and moves defenders out of the way, makes those lanes open up like they're nothing. At 6'4" and 328 pounds, this guy is known for his above-average pass protection. Last season, he only allowed a total of 4 pressures and didn't allow a single sack. That's an insane stat. This dude is a brick wall. Draft analysts have also praised his power, strong lower body, and noted that should he become stout in run blocking due to his aggression and strong fundamentals, in 2024, he was only penalized 3 times. This dude could quickly become an NFL starter with the way he's going right now. So Detroit selected offensive lineman Giovanni Manu and Christian Mahogany in 2024. And then we added Tate Ratledge and Miles Frazier in 2025. Frazier didn't get a lot of action because of that injury. Manu was dealing with injuries. Christian Mahogany was kind of on and off, not really doing fantastic. Ratledge did improve throughout his rookie season, even though there were some obvious growing pains and mistakes he was making in the interior. Mostly just from adjusting from playing at Georgia to battling now with the league's top defensive lineman, especially with the schedule we were handed. It definitely was no easy feat for these guys. I don't know. I'm still going with Maui Goa just because I think tackle right now, especially with Taylor Decker, I don't know what's going on. I think tackle is most important. I think Maui Goa is going to have to be our guy because then we can move Penei Sewell as well. But this guy's definitely not a bad person to look at. If Maui Goa goes earlier than we're expecting, another interior lineman who doesn't give up sacks at all, dude, that's like a perfect draft piece. I think Mel Kiper here really kind of lays it out. And I think it's a guy that maybe we've talked about before, but never really considered this seriously up until now. So I think this would be a great guy. I think his college tape shows some real high ceiling stuff, and I think he could really fit the mold here in Detroit. But you guys let me know what you think, obviously. And now for a fourth and final topic, just a couple of your comments. Mo says the paper bags will be back out in force this season, and Brad/Dan will be fired in 27. Brad's draft magic and Dan's command of the locker room have fallen off a cliff. MFers went Hollywood with gigantic egos and distracted them from the game. They'll be gone soon. I don't know. I mean, I think there's a lot of talk right now that Dan's in the hot seat. I don't think that's true whatsoever. I think maybe Brad Holmes is in the most worry. I think Dan Campbell's a fantastic head coach. I think he just hasn't been surrounded with what he really needed this past season. I think Brad is the one who's on the watch list right now. I think he got, I don't want to say lucky. I don't think there's any luck in the NFL, but he did it very, very well with that first NFL draft. And ever since then, people have given him a lot of wiggle room on some mistakes he's made. I think honestly, this draft class is going to show more about Brad Holmes than Dan Campbell, and that's going to be the real one we have to look at. My only worry is that Brad and Dan are like a Siamese duo. They work together, so I'm really scared if you take one without the other, how well they're going to work out in the long run. But I think you have a good point here. I think some of the stuff, like the going on fourth downs when our offensive line isn't the way it was, that is some big ball stuff maybe we shouldn't have been going for this year. We're going to have to wait and see for this next draft class. I think that'll really show where what kind of hot seat these guys are in. But I think it's a fair comment. I appreciate it. Tailgate Gang 2081 says, I'm pretty sure we didn't go after McDaniels because we didn't want him leaving next year for a head coaching job and then we have to start all over again. Yeah, I didn't even consider that, and I didn't even think that would be another reason we think about that. And I think it's a very fair point. It was a great comment. Thank you, Tailgate Gang. That's a great point. We want our guys to stick around. We want to build something here. We don't want to just win one bowl. We want to win multiple, right? We want to build something here. So maybe Mike McDaniels gets us to the championship and then he leaves, and then we're in a spot where it's like, oh, we're without Ben Johnson. Now we have to find a guy who we trust to operate this offense, and we don't really know if it's going to work until he's out there on the normal the regular season, right? I think this is an absolutely fair comment, and I didn't even think about it. Yeah, let's go get a guy that we can maybe hold on to a little bit, maybe develop a little more under us, and who can be, one of these household names for Lions going forward. It's a good point. I didn't really think about that. Thank you for your comment, Tailgate Gang. With that being said, we're out of time today. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Lions Latest. If you made it to this point in the video, right now in the comments, let me know what you think about those two coaches we mentioned first. Which one would you rather have? Tight ends coach, passing game coordinator. Would you rather have any of them? Let me know right now. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell so you never miss a single video here. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video.